I think we all know just how devastating a lack of rainfall can be. Just think about the crops in your own yard or garden. And farmers growing corn or soybeans can see their entire crop wiped out when months of no rain occur. But did you know that a drought can be just as devastating for cattle ranchers and their livestock? It's a challenge as old as farming itself, the uncertainty that nature can bring each day and each season.
We started with an early, easy spring, and then when the middle of April showed up, the rains quit. So from mid-April through May and June, which normally gives us good rainfall, we got zero.
That zero rainfall has been crippling to cattleman Gary Rowlands. The lack of moisture and withering heat impacted pasture land and sent hay prices soaring. With feed too expensive, Gary was forced to begin selling off his livestock.
I've sold about 20 or 25% of my cows, and I'll sell about that many more. Some of my neighbors have sold all their cattle.
Gary's family has been farming this Arkansas land for more than a century. Gary even has the original 1893 land grant from President Grover Cleveland, awarding the farm to his great-grandfather David. Gary says he and his family watched as the drought turned spring's grassland to summer's dusty fields. What did it look like?
Brown. It went from green to brown. All the grass went away. We kept thinking, well, someday this will stop. It just kept going until everything was gone.
The U.S. Drought Monitor classified the Rowlands farm as a D4 category, an exceptional drought, the worst level, the worst in decades.
It's affected everyone that's in the industry, not just the guys that grow the crops and raise the livestock. The fellows that have the tractor dealership downtown, they're not selling those guys, they're not selling the equipment. Their repair shops are almost vacant.
It's like nothing I've ever seen before.
Phil Sims is the Pope County Extension agent. He says you can't put a number on the drought impact on row crops, hay meadows, and pastures.
How does the drought ripple effect affect the consumers?
The price of corn, it's skyrocketing. The price of soybeans is skyrocketing. And you're seeing any of your products that have corn syrup, that have soybean oil, and that essentially ends up coming out of our back pockets.
In a higher way.
In a higher way.
Cattle sale barns have been filled with farmers selling off their stock. But now, half the cattle herd here is gone.
We've sold 3- and 4-year-old cattle. The cows that we would be using to produce the calves next year, they went to Oklahoma and Texas to replenish their herds. Those cows that was next year's calf crop.
I see.
So we sold the factory.
So what do you say to the farmer who's struggling?
All we can do is try to coach them on how to be better managers for the future, how to do what they've done different so that they won't fall into the same trap they have this time.
Back at Rowlands Farms, Gary's not giving up. Inspecting what's left of his herd, he plans to weather this drought and rebuild his cattle operation over the next few years.
I don't know of a more resilient entrepreneur than a farmer.
Well, you have to like it. If you don't like the business, you're not going to do well in it.
For more than 50 years, Gary worked the family farm with his father. Gary remembers his dad's advice about hard times.
Dad said, no matter what the adversity that came along, we'd get through it. And then he told me once, can't have roses every day. That's part of our heritage, and we still work through those days when we're not getting roses. And it's just my way of life.